was just reading from it.
Okay, get started. Good evening. This is the Raleigh Board of Selectmen meeting of December 9, 2019. I'm going to call the meeting to order. This meeting is being video recorded and televised live on Raleigh Community Media. Would you please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to have public comment from 7:10 to 7:15 tonight. We have an appointment at 7:15 with Robert Breaker, the United States Coast Guard retired, and William Kelly, Captain of the United States Coast Guard retired. Okay, I'll first take up general business number 1. Huh?
There's a 7 o'clock.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have a 7 o'clock appointment with Brent, Conservation Agent Brent Baselock. Sorry, Brent. To discuss acceptance of land by the Conservation Commission as shown on Assessor's Map 11, Parcel 6, Lot 2, rear 600 Weathersfield Street.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Members of the Board of Selectmen. My name is Brent Baselock. I've served as your conservation agent since July 2004. And I'm here this evening. The Conservation Commission received the offer, an offer of a parcel of land that has had some development activity on it recently on the frontage, but it left approximately 9 acres undisturbed to the rear of the property. Have you all received the map? I brought some color. Did you get colored ones?
No.
Oh, wait, yes, there, but yours isn't very colorful, okay. So I'll replace the ones that the reproduction didn't seem to do too well with the colors.
Thank you, Brent.
Only because one of the reasons that this property is considered for acquisition by the Conservation Commission is the fact that a portion of the Mill River corridor goes through it, and the parcel contains both banks, almost the entire associated floodplain and wetlands with that section of the Mill River. Right. It currently is not contiguous to any previously preserved open space under the care and custody of the town, but it does have a small lower portion that actually has them. You have to kind of look at it a little closely. In the lower left-hand corner, there's actually, it comes to a point, so there's a little insert match there, and I believe that is contiguous to the conservation restriction on the Raleigh Golf Course.
Oh.
Right there. So there is conserved land that is contiguous to it, just not exactly sure how much of that really abuts, because this recently surveyed plan that was provided has a few differences from the assessor's map, and I think that's just because there's been recent scrutiny on this property where it has been entirely resurveyed for its entire perimeter. But anyway, the property, to our knowledge, has not seen any historic use except agricultural. It was under forestry designation. Our understanding is that most of the forestry activities were actually where the property has now been developed for 3 single-family residences along the frontage of Weathersfield Street. But of course, in the long history of Raleigh, it's certainly entirely possible that the rear portion of it, contiguous to other properties such as the one owned by the Herricks, may have seen pasturing and some forestry activities there also. But for all intents and purposes, the parcel being offered to the town is all wooded. It hasn't seen any type of development activities that we can ascertain, no signs of foundation holes or anything else like that. And so I'm coming before the board tonight to request your authorization to proceed with the possible acquisition of this as a gift being made to the town. and to procure some assistance from town council in creation of a deed and following the proper process where we then could come back before the board with a deed that would actually transfer the property to the town under the custody and care of the Conservation Commission and for purposes of protecting it as open space in perpetuity.
Right. Is that a little piece of upland in the right-hand corner?
Yeah, there was an attempt made to, because of zoning requirements, the lots that have frontage where the single-family residences were built had to have certain amounts of square footage, but I tried to work with the property owner and see that the configuration of some of the rear boundaries, and there was a conscious effort. There's a 10-foot wide corridor. The little upturned purple line that you see that actually extends right to Weathersfield Street is a 10-foot corridor to allow passage from Weathersfield Street and to get to the back. It does go into a wetland resource area there, which has those marvelous little creatures that we know as beavers that keep the floodplain fairly wet on a regular basis. So I can't guarantee that there's always going to be dry access through there, but there is access to, at this point in time, since, as I said, it wasn't contiguous to any other previously town-owned conservation area. So there was an attempt to provide that access.
Right. Well, that's a great plan. Have a motion? Is there questions or further discussion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion to accept, well, not to accept the land, but to proceed with the accepting with it.
Acceptance and approval and
Right.
assistance of town council.
Has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for all your efforts. We appreciate it.
May I be of further service to the board this evening?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you again. I appreciate your support as we make an attempt to preserve and protect the sensitive areas of
Right.
Raleigh.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks, Brent.
Okay, I'll take up general business. Number one is a letter from Fire Chief James Broderick regarding appointing Nicholas Sire as certified firefighter, 1-2, first, second call firefighter. The chief mistakenly presented Nicholas for appointment as a probationary call firefighter at the November 25, 2019 Board of Selectmen's meeting. He should have been appointed as a certified firefighter 1-2 call firefighter. The board needs to vote to retroactively appoint Nicholas as a certified firefighter 1-2 call firefighter to November 25th, 2019.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion that we retroactively make Nicholas Sire as a certified firefighter 1-2 call firefighter.
Okay, motion.
Second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. I'll now take up new business number one, which is a request from Police Chief Scott Dumas for technical assistance from the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission for assistance on creating dispatch center maps. The police chief is requesting to use 4 technical assistance hours from the MVPC for the creation of new maps for the dispatch center. The current maps are outdated and need to be replaced. The old maps are outdated and need to be replaced with current maps. Having up-to-date dispatch maps are a police department accreditation requirement. Bob Snow, the selectman's representative to the MVPC, supports this request. The board needs to vote to authorize 4 MVPC LTA hours for this project. Have a motion?
Give that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion to authorize the 4 hours has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
I'm going to abstain from that vote, Debbie.
Okay, new business number 2 is reviews zoning board of appeals special permit application filed by Vernon Bell for construction of a multi-unit commercial building at 504 to 506 Newburyport Turnpike. It's my opinion that the board should resist this proposal for the following reasons. They're going to the ZBA to seek approval of a multi-unit commercial building. on a property that is not zoned for commercial uses. Now, the board does have, the zoning board of appeals does have authority to change a non-conforming use to a different use that would allow them to authorize a commercial building, but in this case, there are no prior non-conforming uses on this property, which is right above the winery on Route 1. And so this would be authorizing a brand-new commercial use, which the zoning board of appeals cannot do. They cannot approve use variances. They cannot do this sort of thing. In fact, this is what the town recently voted against at the last town meeting when it voted against allowing commercial uses in this property, in this area. So I think we should resist this, or resist this proposal for that reason. Send a letter explaining that and asking the zoning board of appeals to dismiss the application.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
We send a letter.
Motion's been made and seconded.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Have time for one more. New business number 3 is review zoning board of appeals special application filed by Steve Piero of the American Barbecue for construction of a patio with a dining area and to add a sign to the front of the building at 5 Railroad Avenue. I have no comments about this one.
He applied some time ago for a change to his property, and I thought it was going through, and evidently it didn't.
Yeah,
And now he's made some changes to that,
Right.
and so, yeah, I have no problems with this one.
Okay, so we have no comment?
No.
Okay. All right, we can take up the appointment with Robert Breaker and William Kelly.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Bernie.
Yeah, just to follow up on the maps that Chief Dumas had requested.
Yep.
Are those going to be available for other town departments? Particularly, I sense a need for particularly for the use of the reverse 911, that we understand exactly which properties are being impacted for, a water main break or some other event in town.
They're going to be made available to other departments?
I'm not aware that those maps have ever been made available to other departments, but we can certainly ask the chief.
Yeah.
I'd assume they'd be available for the fire department.
Right.
And they're used by the dispatch. They go in the dispatch center.
They're in the dispatch center.
Right.
They will be.
So this would be a conversation I'd need to have with Chief Dumas.
Okay. We'll ask them.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, Mr. Breaker and Mr. Kelly. At our last meeting, we met with Mr. Robert Breaker and William Kelly to discuss the concept of setting up a Veterans Committee, similar to the Veterans Committee in the town of Wenham. Mr. Breaker and Mr. Kelly are here tonight to continue the discussion. The selectmen need to discuss forming a Veterans Committee, which would consist of 5 members, one of which would be a selectman, that would be responsible for coordinating the annual Memorial Day and other events for veterans. The committee would also fundraise and collect donations for a special donation account that will be used to provide funds for veterans. Selectman Snow will lead the discussion. Thank you, Bob.
I talked to Dave this afternoon. We discussed it a little bit, and we believe, 5-member committee, 1 selectman, and if nobody minds on the board, I wouldn't mind serving as the selectman's rep on the committee. We will need to set up some sort of an accounting activity. I'm not sure. We'll have to talk to Sue Bailey about that.
Mr. Chairman, the Board of Selectmen has the right under state law to vote to set up a special donation account with a purpose on it, and once that vote's taken, we can ask the treasurer to set up that special account. And so if you're ready to do that tonight, or if you want to wait, I wasn't sure, but that would most likely happen after
So this would enable donations to be made to this Veterans Committee and be kept in a separate account, is it?
Yes, and what Selectman Peterson, who's unable to attend tonight, explained to me that they would be using that to fund different things to benefit the veterans, or maybe some wreaths for the cemetery, or things like of that nature. You know, maybe the memorial stones.
I think the first thing we need to do is set up the committee. You know, vote to set the committee, then we go in and talk about the accounting portion. So I would
Okay.
make a motion that we have a 5-man Veterans Committee,
5-person?
5-person.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, would one of the 5 members be a selectman, or do we want to get some feedback from Mr. Breaker? He may have some ideas from Wenham.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to see 6 members on the committee, because I'd like to have a member, at least a representative from the fire department and the police department. We found that it was very useful in our
Okay.
community to do that, because both for outreach and inreach. So and members of the fire or police or the public safety community encountered a veteran that needed some sort of help, and it was appropriate to refer, then we could help. Anything from, assistance with the VA to changing their direct deposit, things of that nature. Bill and I both know where to send them and how to help them do that, and to back reach. So given that one of those members I would consider isn't a town resident, we might have to do something to allow a non-resident, or make them just some sort of an associate member or member serving. But it's a great way to carry the message back to those departments too, especially when we're doing functions like Memorial Day or Veterans Day. They carry the information right back, and we don't have to, the box is checked.
Right.
So,
Is there a way to facilitate the language so that the police and fire reps don't have to be residents? I think
I'm
that's
sure
what we
there
should
is.
do.
I mean, I
Yeah.
wasn't a resident in Wenham, and I
Yeah,
served
absolutely.
the police chief just asked to have a rep from their
Yes.
department, so, I've got 2 people in mind, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And then one would be a selectman?
And then one would be, that's the same way we had a
So
select.
the rest, the 4 other members would have to be residents, right?
Residents,
Right.
yep.
Okay.
I thought I would be a good fit, because I'm the chairman of the Veterans Board.
Yes.
So-
And another thing we did with the committee is we set a backup rep to help with your committee, so that if he couldn't be there, we would send out the backup rep. So there would always be some representative at that monthly meeting with the Essex County veteran.
I think it'd be, to sit on the committee, be fine.
Yeah.
I think, the makeup of the committee, who would be the chair, be a different, that would be for the committee to decide.
Right.
Yep.
Definitely Bob, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. So there'll be a 6-member committee.
Mm-hmm.
One of those members would be from the fire department, one from the police department. They do not have to be residents.
Correct.
And another member would be a selectman.
Mm-hmm.
The other 3 residents
Three.
would have to be residents, the
Yep.
other 3 members.
Yes.
of
So we would put something out to the community asking for volunteers who would like to be on this.
Once you form the committee,
Veteran.
we'll go to the town clerk, we'll get a list of all the veterans in town, and then we'll try and do some outreach and see if we can find that other person.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I think that we would have a plan to appoint the 2 gentlemen here tonight to the committee, so that would leave one
Okay.
Okay.
one seat.
Would you gentlemen like to be part of the committee?
Absolutely. Yes.
Perfect.
Great.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the committee and to appoint the 2 gentlemen to the committee and designate you as a member?
That's right. I'll give you that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, we have a committee.
Perfect.
Okay, and
Thank you.
as we go forward, we're gonna look into about making wreaths across America.
Yes.
The cemetery. And how long does that take?
We won't be able to do it till next year, but we'll have to
Next year.
start it now.
Oh, we'll start it now.
Yeah, we'll start it right away. As soon as we have our first meeting, we'll get somebody on the committee to do that, and then I'll put them in touch with the person in Wenham that does it, so they can just
One of
go
the things
to.
we have to find out how many veterans are buried here. I mean, from the time of the Revolutionary War.
Right.
To,
Hopefully, there are some sort of lists, and then I've got some ideas of ways we can do that, get some foot soldiers to.
well,
go
there's some
through.
out here, I've gone out here and I've seen some Revolutionary markers on the graves out here.
So hopefully we do, but like I said before, it'd be a great thing for an Eagle Scout or,
Yes,
you know, a Girl Scout or somebody to do as a project, so maybe we can enlist some help from them, but now that we have the committee, we can reach out to those organizations and see,
Awesome.
yeah.
Very good.
Just to put it in context, this weekend, the 14th, is the National Wreaths Across America
That's right, Saturday.
event. So, this time next year.
Yes.
yeah, what was it, someone told me, I think it was Dave I was talking to, Georgetown had 500 wreaths that they, on the cemetery.
Yeah, we're up around 250 in Wenham,
Wow, that's
so
impressive.
it's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Next year, people in town will be able to, if they have veterans buried in the cemetery, they'll be able to
Yes.
purchase a
Contact
wreath
us,
and
let
have
us
it put
know.
on their grave. Yeah.
Debbie, you have something to say?
Mr. Chairman, so right now we have 3 members that have been appointed. We have seats slated for 1 police and 1 fire. Are those 2 individuals going to be appointed so that we have the 5 committee members? At this point, there's only 3 out of 6.
Right.
So you,
Do we need to appoint them tonight? Is that what you're saying?
well, if they're ready to be appointed
Are they ready?
tonight, that way you have.
I've got confirmation from Don Dupre, and I talked to Dave McMillan, and they're both willing to serve.
Well, we can appoint them now then.
My point, because otherwise we're waiting for another meeting.
Right.
And there'll only be
Right.
3 members on a 6-member
Right,
committee.
get a
Yeah, well,
quorum.
we also need to get a secretary, someone to take minutes,
So the board will have to organize and
organize.
set up a, you're gonna have to be sworn in, receive your open meeting law packet, take your state ethics,
Take the
online
test.
Yeah, take the test, the whole
And,
kit and caboodle.
yeah, so there's some things that have to be addressed by the new committee.
So it's Don Dupre and Dave McMillan.
That's,
I
I've
move
worked,
that we appoint them to the committee,
Second.
Veterans Committee.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Motion to appoint Don and Dave has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman, who seconded? We didn't hear that.
Dina.
Dina.
Okay, sorry.
senior teachers can go and leave us.
Yeah. it's-
Dave
You
will be
don't
a
show up, that's what
wonderful
happens.
addition to that committee. He's a great person.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've worked with them,
Yeah.
so
he's great.
but in both professions, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is a great thing to do.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you rank them?
We had the opportunity to have his unit come to Gloucester and do their open water swim, so I had the pleasure of throwing him overboard.
Only the chief of the boat.
I made sure it was all of a quarter mile offshore or more.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Thank
Anything
you.
else?
No,
All set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
that's enough.
If you could to tomorrow, maybe get your telephone numbers and email addresses to Amy, okay?
Sure.
So that
I'll
we can-
email it all to you.
So that we can, you know,
Yep.
put it together and get the word out to you, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
All right,
sounds
thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome.
It's good.
Okay, next is old business number 1, which is an update on the Pine Grove School project. The major outstanding issue is the reconstruction of the softball field. Debbie asked Larry Berger for an update. She received the attached email. I guess I have to read the email. Debbie, I need to follow up with Tom on a specific action plan. When we spoke last week, Monday, the hope was warmer weather would melt the snow and allow for installation to move forward this week. While we have warm temperature, the rain continues to make the field conditions unserviceable as the soils are saturated and unstable. The irrigation was installed before Thanksgiving, but the snow stopped any additional work from proceeding. I wish I had better news. I'll get back to everyone once I have had an opportunity to discuss things with Tom. So it hasn't been done.
Did I follow up on that last?
Yeah, I just want to, I think it's an appropriate time to, maybe Debbie could seek clarification from Tom Mullen as what the town should be doing to protect itself.
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think we need to know, this is, part of the project that hasn't been completed.
Right.
And they're talking about closeout and punch lists.
Right.
How can that be? They
Yeah,
haven't,
I'm very concerned. I think we
they
all
haven't
are.
finished the project.
And I'm very concerned you can put sod in the middle of the winter and it'll hold or, thrive. I kind of
Yeah.
doubt that, I mean, I've never put sod in myself, but I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah. Okay. If the board would like to make that in the form of a
Yeah,
motion, I'll
so,
certainly.
so wanna make a motion to,
I will.
okay?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Joe?
Yes, I went to a district communications meeting last Thursday night, and we were in Newbury, and I made sure that I spoke to Superintendent Forget before the meeting, because for the first time in approximately 4 years, we did not have a construction meeting on Friday afternoon at the Pine Grove School. And so I asked him if he could give me anything to report tonight for the Pine Grove update, and he did. And I'm surprised at this statement, because Superintendent Forget told me that the snow was not removed from the driveways and from the school parking lot, and it was a disaster.
I have no, it's not the report that I got from the highway department, because I spoke to the surveyor and, what day?
I'm not sure.
Well, the day,
I'm
there was
not
a
sure.
2-day storm. There was a 2-hour delay on Monday, a
Right.
week ago.
They had Tuesday off, right?
Yes, and so I know that they did the best they could to clear the school for the Monday storm. You know, other sidewalks in town weren't cleared and things like that, but they did clear that. Tuesday, the school was canceled. So I'm not sure what time, but they had the benefit of that time. If there's some more specific information, it didn't reach my, my phone or my email.
I'll have to get in touch with Superintendent Forget again, but he said that they had a very bad time with it.
Did he
That
think
the areas were not clear.
I think one issue is the new drop-off and pickup lane when you enter the school. You enter the school in the right lane, and then there's the area for the kids to open up the
Right.
doors and get out. My experience during pickup is that the snowbanks hadn't been cleared. The kids couldn't open up the doors to get into the cars, so teachers were trying to pick kids up over the snowbank, or they were having to walk into the road to get in. My experience is that somebody notified Principal Nealand, and then the next day, that extra snow had been cleared, so that kids could get in and out of parents' cars.
Was Thursday the snow cleared on that storm?
Yeah, Tuesday was the day off. Wednesday's the day that it wasn't completely. I
Yeah,
can't
when-
speak to
what-
all the parking lots and the rest. I think that the drop-off lane was not completely clear. There was they have a sidewalk there, and it maybe looked like somebody had just plowed through the sidewalk, but that left a high snowbank on each side, so kids couldn't get in and out of cars. The next day, someone had gone in and cleared so that it was easily accessible for
So
children.
my guess would be the highway department wasn't aware that that would be an area where you would
Right.
need to plow up to the curb and remove the snow there.
I think
And so
whoever
I
is
think
clearing
that-
the snow with the new parking lots, there's gonna be a bit of a learning curve in general, just
Definitely.
Yeah, right.
to make sure with all the new curbing and to make sure that they kinda get it down pat. It was very icy still, maybe some areas.
Well, the ice,
think
we have
it's-
the Bobcat, so the ice,
Yeah.
just like here, we have to put out,
Salt
we have a
and sand.
barrel here.
Right.
We put out our own
Yeah.
salt and sand.
I think it's just gonna take some time for people
Yeah.
to get the hang of removing snow
So
in a
we-
way that,
Right,
I
so
think
Pat's
it's
aware of
efficient.
this, right? I mean,
So I think he's aware of that and probably realized that's a area that has to have the snow
taken out,
Right.
yeah,
removed actually from the curb, where the curb meets the road.
yeah.
And it is a sign that says drop-off area, so that, and if he has another employee,
Right.
I'm sure he'll give the instructions.
Right, and that's
Yeah.
only what I saw. Like I said, I'm not sure if there was other specific areas that the superintendent was speaking about. That's just an area that I saw maybe had some challenges.
So if I can reach out to Superintendent Forget and find
Yeah,
out if there was
find
any
out
other
if something
issue.
else.
It's nothing, no one contacted me or,
right,
as I understand, the highway surveyor.
right.
Okay. And I want to make sure I'm clear about one issue, that we have not stopped the construction meetings. They're being held as needed, and Larry Berger suggested that this Friday there would be a construction meeting. He felt it was as needed, and I will not be available
Oh, okay. Where is it?
at the Pine Grove School
What time is it?
at 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay, 1 o'clock on Friday. I'll go. Bernie?
Yeah, I attended the craft fair on Saturday at the Pine Grove School, and the walkways from Main Street up to the school were still covered with snow and, at this point, ice, and make them pretty tricky. So it didn't look as though anybody had actually cleared them. I didn't notice, I didn't wander anywhere else, but I did know, because we were walking, and we walked in the street, not on the pavement, because it was so tricky.
Well, Mr. Chairman, that was on a Saturday, so my understanding is they're plowing to get ready for school, so maybe did they know? I know there was some snow on Friday afternoon, there was some accumulation, not much. Was it, I don't know, was it enough to bring out the Bobcat? I wouldn't know, and I wouldn't know what the expectation is for the highway department to clear if there's no school in session on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know whether they made any
Is that what the board's
provision.
intention is for events at the school too? Because that would be something that the highway department may not be aware of.
Right, I guess that's a good point.
You know, you're gonna have to decide on what the policy is.
Yeah, it was their annual crafts fair.
Well,
Yeah, but I don't know that the highway department is
Right.
thinking
I don't know
about
that they
special
even-
events at the
even-
school, and
yeah.
if they're required to be clearing
But
for
I,
those events,
I
then.
would think in general though, if there's any snow, they should be cleared, because if there's snow on Friday afternoon, that needs to be cleared off for the kids on Monday. They're not gonna go
Right.
out on a Sunday
Unless
to
it-
clear it.
And I'm not sure that they
Yeah.
would be doing that in the dark on Friday or anticipating something on
that's true.
Saturday.
Right.
Maybe he would schedule something to be brought in, I don't know, I would have to ask.
Yeah.
that's Pat?
It
Yeah.
seems
Yeah.
like whenever there's snow,
Well, whenever there's plowable snow.
there should be, yeah.
So I just don't know that the accumulation on Friday was enough to bring out the Bobcat.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's when that equipment's being brought out.
Mm-hmm.
If it was to bring a highway department employee over to shovel, is that what the board's intention is? That we need to really have a conversation with the highway department?
Right.
Maybe we
No,
should bring them in on.
Because, the manpower to shovel is I thought it was for the Bobcat.
But I know that's gonna be tricky, because if there's gonna be times where there's snow that should be shoveled, and like you said, that the bobcat
Well,
can't come
that's
out, so
where-
that's gonna be, we're gonna have
That's
to
the
figure that
janitor's
out.
responsibility, like the library and the town hall, the janitor.
To spread the ice and,
And
so.
if the
Right.
janitor's not here, I do it, so
Yeah.
honestly, I do it. You
So
know,
like, yeah,
to make sure the building is accessible during the day.
Right.
I've shoveled the ramps, the stairs, salted, sanded. The highway department's seen me do that when we have no one to do it.
Mhm.
So I just need to clarify, the letter and the vote of the board was for the Bobcat.
yeah.
So,
For a plowable event,
for a snow
so
plowable
I would think
event.
that would include a plowable event for Saturday activities that are officially
So I'm not
sanctioned.
sure what the board's intention is with respect to what Mr. Collins said.
I mean, I think we should take care of that.
Yeah, I think
Because
if there's snow,
more
it
than
should be
likely, the
cleared
snow's
from the
gonna
sidewalks.
be there on Monday anyway,
Yeah.
so.
But isn't a plowable event reflective of the amount of snow
Yeah.
falling, not what's going on? It's
Right.
just whether there's enough snow to be
That's right.
plowed.
Right. It's the amount of
The
snow.
pavement wasn't, there were no chemicals down on the ground either, as from what I could see, so. But you're right, it was only an inch and a half on Friday,
So
so.
I don't know that the highway department would have determined to bring out a Bobcat to do
Mm.
anything, including Main Street and the other sidewalks in town.
Yeah.
So I think these
No,
are
that's fair.
questions that the selectmen really have to have and clarify with the school. I didn't hear any complaint about anything to do with Saturday, so or any other day, so.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the sidewalks are icy, and the area in front of the schools, the area with the rocks, that area is,
Well, once again,
Yeah.
is that the highway department's responsibility to
Right.
walk over there and, just like at the library janitor is
Right.
putting the ice melt out.
Right.
right,
Here-
I don't,
So
I
if
think.
if it's icy, is that, and there's no plowable event, what is the board's?
I think that maybe it's not, I know what you're saying, it's completely the janitor's responsibility to put down the salt and sand. I think that it was maybe more snow that needed to be cleared, and maybe there's just some confusion that you said, like you said, we have to figure out in terms of removing any amount of snow so that it doesn't result in that snowy.
But I think it's the responsibility for the school department to take care of the entrances, both in the bus area and in that front area.
Okay, so,
Well, I mean,
But not the sidewalks.
we've said
Okay,
we
I see
would
what
do
you're saying.
plowable events, so if it's not one of those, then they have the responsibility to spread the ice melt, right? I mean,
or shovel.
Or
is that-
brush it off.
yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
was my presumption. If that's not the board's intent, then we need to revisit this with the highway department, because I think that they don't have the capacity to be getting out and shoveling. Or that was the board's intention to do that, to have them actually shovel. It was for the equipment, the Bobcat, that was the vote of the board,
Well, I mean,
for plowable events.
yeah, right.
And so what the superintendent said in terms of the other schools, they said that their highway departments clear the sidewalks in any event of snow, is that what it said?
The towns have the responsibility to clear the roadways and the sidewalks.
And the sidewalks. So we just need to make a decision on who's gonna clear the snow on the sidewalks for a non-plowable event? Is that what we're trying to figure out?
I don't know,
Debbie?
because I don't know that I have only the vote of the Board of Selectmen, and I think you need to have this discussion with the highway surveyor.
Yeah, okay. So we have them in next week?
Let's bring them in next week. We'll work this out.
Yes, and I think we need to clarify exactly what services are being provided in the other towns.
Yeah,
To see who's
Are they actually shoveling?
Yeah,
right.
yeah, let's have them maybe in on Monday,
Yeah, can
figure
we do
this
that?
out.
Is that
There's a
it?
lot of parking issues on Saturday as well.
Yes.
It was a big turnout.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we move on? Okay.
Oh, I have one quick.
Yes.
On the softball field, is there, I know the bid is to install the softball field. Are we looking at a particular dollar figure from the proposal? And is the amount of money that's being withheld, would that be sufficient to handle the softball field? I mean, where are we dollar-wise on the softball field?
Well, how much is it costing? Do we know?
This is part of the contract for the entire school project.
Right.
So I actually don't know what that dollar amount is. The contract is obligated under 149A contract to do the softball field, because they disrupted it to use it for
Right.
construction, and then the had to put in the septic. So the board discussed last week potentially holding back some funds because the OPM was on target working on a closeout. But you can't close out the project if the project actually isn't completed, because the punch list is looking at completed work and mediating any disputes over that work or things that maybe hadn't been done correctly. So I wasn't sure why we're doing a closeout if one component of the project hasn't been
No,
completed.
that makes perfect sense to me. I'm
So
concerned that there's
no
a not.
monetary amount has been determined by the Board of Selectmen
Okay.
at the last meeting.
Right.
So do we need to take a vote to reach out to town council about that? Is that
The
what we
board
talked about?
We did that.
discussed
We did
that, and just tonight, so we'll get some clarification about
We'll figure it out.
the requirements under the contract as to what should be done before we start looking at the final requisition with the contractor and other things, and if the softball field doesn't take, and there's a third season then of no games, home games for the girls, Triton Youth Girls Softball League, what does that stand for the town to have that loss?
Right.
Right.
In which case, I imagine the better option would be to hydro-seed the place rather than the sod, right? But that means the whole season's out. Whereas if they
Yeah,
put
I
sod
didn't-
in the spring,
Yeah.
that would still save their season, I think.
It's just, you're looking really at the outfield, and the softball field, diamond isn't the same as a little league field, so it's kind of all dirt, in the infield, but it's all that outfield grass.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, I think that it's a big part of the project, and there seems to be no proactive, communication from the OPM and guidance as to where the town stands in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's constantly me reaching out to find out without any regular reporting on this piece of construction that needs to be done.
Yeah. Does need to be done. Okay, old business number 2 is a request by Stephen Comley, Senior, for the Board of Selectmen to send a letter to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission requesting a public hearing on Seabrook Station Emergency Response Plan. Mr. Comley submitted a letter to the board on November 18, requesting the board to send a letter to the NRC requesting a public hearing on the Seabrook Nuclear Power Plant Emergency Response. The Board of Selectmen did discuss Mr. Comley's request on June 1, 2015. Fire Chief, he had a similar request back then. Fire Chief REMA Director James Broderick reviewed Mr. Comley's materials and filed a report on them with the Selectmen, several officials from MEMA, Senator Bruce Tarr, Representative Hill, Fire Chief REMA Director James Broderick, and former Police Chief Robert Barker. At the end of this discussion, the board voted to send a letter to Congressman Seth Moulton, and we did send a letter to that effect. That was in 2015. So, Mr. Comley would like us to send another letter. It's up to, so we need to make a decision on that. I know we have some members have different opinions on this, but will you have an
Mr.
opinion?
Chairman, I don't know if we should discuss this at all, because Mr. Connolly, as we know, the signs around town, he's running for president, he's a presidential candidate.
Yeah.
Okay. Us sending a letter, wouldn't that be an endorsement of his candidacy? I don't think the two can be separated.
Well, there's nothing, there would not be nothing in the letter that would endorse him. Put it
Well,
that way.
I don't know, that's one, if it's one of his platforms. I'm just thinking
Oh,
about.
that's true.
I'm just
It is his
thinking
platform.
of, if we do this, okay, we set a precedence, okay? Some other, I'm being hypothetical, somebody from Bernie Sanders, comes in here and wants us to sign on to Medicare for All, or something like that. This board is a local board. We local issues. This is not, back in 2015, I was on the board, and we sent, we had a meeting here on the 1st of June, 2015. We brought in
I know,
MEMA,
we did a very.
REMA, we brought
Yeah.
state representative in here and everything. But I'm just saying, at this particular point, I don't know if, I think we should not really touch this.
Okay.
Because of, I mean, it may be construed that we're, backing his candidacy.
Right.
I mean, I just feel uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, no, that's certainly a legitimate point of view. I don't think it would be backing his candidacy,
Okay.
because there's no mention of his candidacy. There'll be no mention in our letter, and.
But if there's that part of his platform,
That's
Yeah, well,
that is his platform, isn't it?
Is
think
it?
it is.
I don't know, I'm not familiar with his platform.
well, that's what I mean. We should be very careful here about where we tread.
Yeah. Bertie?
I mean, I think the last letter was sent when he was running for president
Yeah,
previously.
well, it probably was.
So I don't know that doesn't strike me as being particularly material. I'm just unfamiliar with what that 2015 letter actually contained and what issues.
Well, it was sent to Seth Moulton. It wasn't sent to the
Right, but
NRC.
around what?
It was about their emergency response plans, and we asked that Seth get in touch with the NRC. I think that's, the letter's here, but you can
He's
read
our
it if you
federal,
want.
he's our federal contact. Seth
Right,
Moulton,
he's our federal
Congressman.
contact.
Yeah.
Would
So
it-
why not just resend the 2015?
Well, that's what I'm suggesting that we
Oh.
do. I mean, I think it could go either way on this. On one hand, I think the NRC is not even gonna read our letter, you know, they're mostly gonna, they sent a response to Seth Moulton's letter that was really bureaucratic and didn't say much of anything. I think that's likely what we're gonna get. On the other hand, in my opinion, it's totally harmless to send another letter, just to resolve the thing, put it to bed. I think we should just send another letter.
Would it be
That'll the
appropriate
end of
to
it.
have the fire chief and the current police chief review this information
Well,
again?
I don't think so, because we already got
We
the
did
fire chief and the
Yeah.
police chief involved, and the
Right.
fire chief especially.
lot.
His report is in here. He
Yeah.
went above and beyond the call of duty
He-
Right.
to respond to the concern that Steve Comley was raising. So I don't think we should impose on anything else on him. I think this is totally on us, and that would go with the police chief too.
Okay. One thing I've observed, which I find concerning, is Mr. Comley put some information, spreading word to residents in mailboxes. He was putting letters in mailboxes.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that seems inappropriate.
The thing is, Rowley is outside the 10-mile EPZ zone. Within that, there is an NRC guideline plan on what to do, how to do it, and so forth.
right,
The next one is 50 miles out, and we're in that zone.
right,
It's basically shelter in place, so there are plans in place,
right.
whether or
And-
not they...
I imagine the
Good,
plans were
good.
approved a long time ago. They probably, who knows, they may not have been looked at since. I mean, we don't know.
And Mr. Comley believes those plans are inadequate.
Yes, and he may be right, he may be wrong, I don't know.
But, I mean, it would have cleared up a lot of, if he had been here on June the
Agreed,
1st, 2015. And I don't think we would be here tonight at this point.
Well,
Maybe, I don't know.
we might. So we just need to vote one way or the other. I don't think, like I said, people have different opinions on what we should do.
I just don't want to make us
Okay, well,
go ahead, political, you know.
are you gonna make that motion?
So should we hold off until after
I-
his candidacy
Yeah,
is resolved?
that would probably be the best thing to do, is
Okay,
table it until.
make that motion.
I make a motion that we table this until Mr. Conley is no longer a candidate,
Okay.
or been elected, I don't know.
I'll second that motion.
Well, if he gets elected, he'll be in charge of the NRC.
There we have a problem, so.
I'm
so-
sorry, Dean, I couldn't
No.
resist that. Okay, the motion to table this until after
Yes.
the election has been made and seconded.
Second.
This is heavy for, if he's a president.
I just don't want to put the board in a position, that's all.
I understand. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Headlined in the Daily News tomorrow.
Okay, what do we got, liquor license? All existing license renewals have been submitted except for Rowley Golf Course, which is a seasonal license that runs from April to November. Since this is a seasonal license, it has a different renewal period and will be renewed in April, okay? Please vote on the approval and signing of the following licenses up for renewal. The approved licenses will be available in the Selectman's office for signature this week. The licenses are Rowley Veterans Association, 19 Bradford Street, Skins Incorporated. I don't know, should we take these one at a time, Debbie, what do you think, or should?
If you think there could be discussion, we have some notes on some.
There's some notes on Easy LLC and Briar Barn, so we could put those separately. Could we vote on all the ones on the first page in one motion?
So as long as the board understands why we're renewing Spuds, even though Spuds is
Yes.
going out of business, that's your second one on the list.
Right,
As long as the board members understand the American Barbecue, you know, they're gonna be filing for eventually a, alteration of premise,
Right.
but, they've gotta meet with the ZBA first on that. So if that's fine, yeah, you can
Okay.
probably vote for everything, on the first page.
Okay, well, I'll do that. Okay, so those licenses are Rowley Veterans Association, Inc., 19 Bradford Street, Skins Incorporated, DBA Spuds Restaurant, 255 Newburyport Turnpike, Nippon Tapataganan, TJ Thai, the Thai restaurant, DBA Royal Orchid, 303B Haverhill Street. The Great American Barbecue, DBA The American Barbecue, 5 Railroad Ave. Pymar Inc., DBA Off the Vine, 150 Newburyport Turnpike. Cabales Inc., El Tapatio, 300 Newburyport Turnpike. Brickell LLC, DBA Bradford Tavern, 85 Haverhill Street. Galbro Inc., DBA Route 1 Liquors, 174 Newburyport Turnpike. Rowley Liquors, DBA Rowley Liquors, 144 Newburyport Turnpike. Grape Island Inc., DBA Mill River Winery, 498 Turnpike, Newburyport Turnpike, and Rowley Enterprises, DBA Skip's Country Store, 801 Haverhill Street.
Can I just offer one?
Yep.
Because we went through this for several times, that Cabales is El Tapatio.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, DBA. Rowley Liquors has an overdue water bill. Oh, it's a different entity than the applicant, okay. All right, so can I have a motion to renew those licenses?
Give you a motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Next is Easy LLC, DBA Easy Variety 300 Newburyport Turnpike. On April 23rd, 2018, we approved a package store wine and malt liquor license for Andy Sunny, located at 21 Main Street, which was a transfer of the license held by Easy EE Variety. The application was forwarded to the ABCC for their approval. From May 9th, 2018 through October 15th, 2018, the ABCC issued 3 return no action letters requesting additional information from the applicant, Andy Sunny. The attorney for Andy Sunny never provided the ABCC with additional information they requested. On December 2, ABCC confirmed they still have the original application on file. Andy Sunny's attorney plans to submit the requested information, and then the town can resubmit this information for reconsideration. Since this transfer is still pending, Easy LLC has submitted a renewal application for 2020, even though their business location of 300 Newburyport Turnpike has been vacant for over 1 year. The ABCC said this is the process for the town to follow, and the board can deny this renewal, but the denial could be appealed by EZC. So I think we can renew this, and they can just wait until they transfer. The Andy Sunny opens, its location, and it can be transferred.
Even though it's been vacant for a year and that they have not responded from the Sunnies.
The ABCC said we could go either way. Is that the
It's entirely up to.
yeah, it's entirely up to us. But if we deny it, they can deny the renewal.
They could
No, no,
appeal
no.
it, they may not win, if we present enough evidence. It is like it's a hearing, it's gonna take some time, according to the ABCC appeals process. We will have to prepare, basically, and outline all our reasons why, if it comes to that. I think it's a situation where, Andy Sunny had some issues in its original filing with the ABCC, that needed to be addressed. And I think they are now finally, they have an attorney now that seems to be aggressively working on the matter. It's a difficult situation because obviously the address, that Easy Varieties at is slated to become another business. approved by the Board of Selectmen. So I'm not really sure, it's really a policy decision of the
Yeah.
board. We're hoping, Amy's been in contact and she can speak on this, that it's been moving along recently.
The attorney emailed me at the end of last week saying she had put the documentation in the mail, so I expect to get it this week.
So if we deny the renewal, then they can file an appeal, and it means Debbie has to go into Boston and,
Easy could appeal it. Andy Sunny could just file their own application, and
Right.
it would have been easier, but I believe this is a business, there could be some sale of things from Easy Variety that,
right.
you know, equipment and things like that, that are part of this package with the license.
So I have no problem.
Don't we have a conflict with
Approving.
the location for Easy Variety that, what was it, Gino's taking back the property?
No, this
and-
one, it says here, we were clear to make sure the board was aware that this is the location for Oak Planters of Cape Ann.
Oh, it is.
Well, it was.
The address for Easy Variety at the Newburyport Turnpike. So you're approving a renewal of a license for a business that hasn't occupied 300 Newburyport Turnpike. I just
Yeah.
don't know what the board's comfort level with it. It's really a policy decision for you to make
Right.
on something like that.
Bernie?
Pending, can you delay the vote on this pending the submission from the lawyer as to whether that looks sufficient to?
Well, the renewal,
To move it
the
forward?
license got to be non-renewed, so we can't delay it, can we?
You could wait till your last meeting is December 23rd, so if you want to take it up that evening
Okay,
and
that
see what the
sounds like a good
paperwork
idea.
is, though the likelihood that we're going to get an approval, the ABCC is very busy in December because they're getting 351 cities and towns are filing all their renewals. We don't expect, we'll hear probably, if the paperwork is satisfactory to the ABCC, to sometime maybe middle of January. I mean, it could be sooner,
Right.
that
Can we,
transfer.
I think that's the way to go. Can we move the table this? Someone want to make a
Yeah.
motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
To December 23rd.
Yeah, right.
2 weeks, that's fine.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Seconded did that? I didn't hear that.
Bob was second. Right. The Briar Barn Inn LLC, DBA Briar Barn Inn, 101 Main Street. The problem here is the applicant has requested that the description of the premises written on the liquor license be revised to include the inn porch. The applicant reported that during their annual inspection, the building inspector and fire chief requested that this area be included on the liquor license. The porch was highlighted as an area where alcohol would be served on their application, and the selectmen discussed the inn porch at the public hearing on this application. I remember that this area was approved as part of the original liquor license approval. It was inadvertently left off the license. So we need a motion to approve it with the inn porch being included. Is that right, Debbie?
Yes, the description on the actual license that hangs in the establishment, it just didn't include the words porch.
Right.
And it was an oversight, and
Right.
it's been manually typed.
Give it that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second that.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Flea markets. The following renewal applications have been received and are in order with all taxes, water, and light bills paid. Please make a motion to approve and sign the licenses. They'll be available in the selectman's office for the selectman to sign. Star P. Todd, DBA Todd Farm, LLC, 283 Main Street. Frank and or Shirley Todd, DBA Todd's River Farm, LLC, 275 Main Street.
Give you a motion.
Second.
Motion to approve the licenses has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? The ayes have it.
Excuse me, wasn't there a Sandra Hamill as well?
She is on the list, but there's a notation here that we've not received her renewal application form. Minutes of November 18, 2019. Everyone was present.
Give the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Then we have the minutes of November 25th. Again, everyone was here.
Motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. we've covered everything except for announcements. Announcements, Eastern Essex Veterans Board of Directors meetings are now being video recorded and shown on Rowley Community Media. Toys for Tots drop-off box in the Town Hall. Vacancies, 1 vacancy on the Conservation Commission, 1 vacancy on the Zoning Board of Associate seat, and several vacancies on the Rowley Cultural Council. Interested residents should send a letter of interest to the Board of Selectmen or call the Selectmen's office at 948-2372.
Give me a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to adjourn has been made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it.